having Madam Ambassador of Excellency from Ethiopia. Glad. Thank you, Madam, for your valuable time in joining us today. The roundtable will be starting subsequent to this, and you will be getting more data and more inputs from Madam regarding Ethiopia and their relations.
Yes, ma'am.
In March, almost all the trade relation with many countries has stopped. But when we see the level of relationship with India, for the last 3 months only, there are 30 new Indian companies that have arrived to Ethiopia to look for investment license. So this happened when there is only the bubble flight, only one flight in a week. Before that, we used to have every day, both from New Delhi, Mumbai, and also twice from Bangalore. Nowadays, we have just a bubble agreement and flight just once in a week. Even within this condition, 30 new Indian companies have already went to Ethiopia for the last 3 months. So this really shows that there is a big interest from the Indian side to just work and collaborate with Ethiopia. And mostly the trade relation also, it also focuses on like investing in the textile, investing in the pharmaceutical, and also food processing area. So if the things are like that at this moment, I believe when the vaccine would come and when everything become normalized, the relation will develop and it will increase into a higher level.
For 30 years before I made my own in India. And as it so happened, my first 2 years living in India were in Chennai. What it allows me to have is, having working around about 37 countries across the African continent out of the 55 countries we have, is a good understanding of how things work or how they not work, what can be done and what should be done. It is also my opinion that whatever work is done between India and the African state is that the partners are to be of equal standing, that there is not one junior partner in it. The pluses are, of course, that both the countries of Africa and all are developing countries, and so is India developing countries. So it is not a sort of top-down kind of attitude, I think, that will be approached. That we have COMESA here joining us with a office in Chennai is also significant because the entrance to South India by sea is Chennai. And I look forward to be part of this incredible journey that is about to be undertaken more vigorously than ever before for bringing the African continent and the mystic India together. Thank you.
And an extension of all the trade and commerce development for various cities of South India is being initiated by the office here, and we are hoping and looking for a lot of cooperation from our Ministry of External Affairs and also from the various embassies, and Madam Excellency from the Ethiopian Embassy is giving us all the support for developing these trade relations and other social and cultural aspects of building and strengthening these bilateral relationships. So I would leave the floor to you to ask any questions that you might have. In the press conference, we are also joined by Mr. Chris Paul, who is spent 20 years in Africa and is the Vice Chairman of the India-Africa Trade Council. And he is also going to be a very rich resource on understanding Indian-African trade relations. He is here, and we finally have our host in Tamilnadu, Mr. Ramakrishan, who is going to be an appointed director today of the India Trade Council office, the Africa Trade Council, specifically addressing the COMESA region, because Africa is a very big continent, a very big region, and we have divided into different zones, and so we have got the COMESA director, and he is going to be taking a lot of initiatives in building these multilateral relationships with different countries. And today our focus country is Ethiopia, and it's a very important country for us, for India. Therefore, we're going to be looking forward for all the support and for all the encouragement from Madam Excellency. I thank you very much.
From the discussion we had with His Excellency the Minister of Foreign Minister of India, he explained us that there are many African countries who have already requested, but the response was that now they are going to disseminate first to Indians and then Indian neighbors, and then next, depending on like the level of relationship and the request. So he explained to us that India is open to anybody who want to take that vaccine. So it's just a matter of following the procedure. But still the demand is there, and the readiness to provide from Indian side is already there. Event, and also for the India-Africa Trade Council and the India Economic Trade Organization. As it has been said, India and Africa have had a long years relationship, and the relationship can be seen from both political, economic, and technical, and also diplomatic collaboration. And there are so many Indian who are living in different places in Africa, and among all the trade relations between India and Africa is increasing from time to time. And when we come specifically to Ethiopia, Ethiopia has started its relation with India in the 1st century, where the Indian trader used to go to Ethiopia to sell their silks and spices, whereas they used to buy golds and different kind of precious material from Ethiopia. So this long years relationship has grown into better diplomatic level, and Ethiopia is the first African country that has started established its embassy in India in 1948, just 1 year after the independence of India. This really shows the historic relationship between India and Ethiopia. So I believe, even if there are currently more than 600 Indian companies that are operating in Ethiopia, working in different kind of sectors, but I believe the formation of this Indian Trade Council would really help to boost the already existing good relationship between many different countries and India, and also with Ethiopia. So I again want to congratulate Dr. Asif for his initiation, and also I want to acknowledge the fact that the formation of such kind of trade council would be an eye-opener, and also a gateway to just go and look for what is really going on in Ethiopia, and also in Africa, because India and Africa really share a lot of commonalities. There are many things. You can call it in culture, you can call it in different kind of sentiments, relation, and also even the fight against colonialism and whatever kind of thing. So, taking all this into consideration, the formation of such kind of trade council would really help to strengthen the relationship between Africa and India, and also specifically when we come to Ethiopia, since we still have a very strong relation with India, we want to use this initiative as a means to go into the second level, and thank you so much.
For example, for the eye, vitamin A is a key component. It's a product called beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is chemically manufactured worldwide, but the same beta-carotene is available in blue green algae, which can be developed in lands in Kerala and Tamilnadu. So these are very good substitutes for chemical products. So like this with African countries, particularly COMESA countries, we can definitely have a long way to go. And I am sure with the size of these two continents, subcontinent and the continent, I think we'll take a very good space in the global map shortly. Thank you.
I think once the Africa Free Trade comes, then there will be a common policy for film shootings. Now we are going to be, we have expressed it. I think we have got somebody from the Film Commission here who's going to answer you about Africa's thing. Mr. Wali, can you please talk about the initiatives of the Film Commission that India Africa Trade Council has?
So hi, good afternoon. So the Film Commission that will be formed here as the India Africa Trade Commission, also for the more specifically for the films. There will be more so subsidies from both sides. There will actually not just subsidies but also the facilities that will go overall. And not just that, but also the technical education, and that's also going to be where we go over to the other countries and make sure that there is a technical team that we train and make sure that the units are ready. The objective is not just to take subsidies but also provide an entire facility of for the teams that go from here or vice versa. So both sides is really taking an amicable and a long-lasting relationship, and that's what we are.
The trade figures between 20 and 21, that India was exporting $117 billion of goods into Africa as a country. It's a very significant export of goods to Africa. It's in fact number 3 importer of goods to Africa. Telecommunication, pharmaceuticals.
Focus on collaborations. For example, there are cashew kernels that come in from there to here. And then they are polished from here and they are exported back. So we want to impart skills to those countries where that can happen there, and our Atmanirbhar program of the Honorable Prime Minister can be brought. So this is one of the reasons how India and Africa are collaborating.
And how many companies can you house with this technology?
So this is a first pilot one, which is just 100 acre of land, and we would like to then replicate this model, because we'll also have a cultural center, an African cultural center, and it will be pertinent to know that Delhi has the Ethiopian cultural center, the only African country to have their cultural center, and it was given in 1948, and one of the prime places which is helping cultural bondages between India and Ethiopia. So based on those lines, we were motivated by the Ethiopian cultural center in Delhi to have the small African cultural center as well in the special economic zone.
How many companies can it accommodate?
It can accommodate around 40 companies. Influential in developing our friendship and relationship with these countries. Educational institutions. We are trying to look at institutions from Tamilnadu who want to go to Ethiopia and who want to establish collaborations on the educational part. And we also have this company called the MIND group of education institutions who are also going to be exploring, and I think we have their CEO here. Yes, the CEO is here, and he's going to share a little more how they want to explore the other parts of Africa. Thank you. Social distancing.
As I was telling you in opening remarks, one of the key areas for Indo-African relationship is the agri-research. That's readily available, so you don't need to trade anything. So a good tie-up, a technology tie-up in agro-farming, as also agro-pharmaceuticals and natural fuels, will go a long way for building an excellent relationship. This could be a mutual building of relationship one. The second is MSME is a very, very key sector for both the countries. So not large investments are coming up. Therefore, MSME organizations, both from the state or South India as also or India as also Africa, can go together in starting some components, auto industries, auto ancillaries, components, parts. That's another area where they can look at. The third activity is infrastructure development. Now, I don't know, I think most of us know, till about 95, 96, we didn't have a good economic corridor, a road connection. So the transport was taking a lot of time, the logistics was taking a lot of time. the government started looking at rural quality. So slowly we started the infrastructure development in a very big way. And today, you know how the roads are connected, how the infrastructure is connected. So something very similar to that, I think we can look at African infrastructure investments in a very, very big way. And that could help in a long way because MNCs, most MNCs abroad who have focused on infrastructure have put up their offices in India. And they are ready to travel with India to any other country. So I think they should look at that also. These 3 or 4 focus areas will build a very, very long relationship with the countries.
Thank you. Mr. Chris, as you mentioned about your experience with Africa, could you tell us your experience, something that you have learned would be beneficial for the India-Africa Trade Council?
Discover what are the needs, what are the wants, and where India can collaborate in strength to help to get to those wants. When you have a continent with 55 countries, there will be 55 different wish lists, and one needs to be very mindful and to listen carefully and see how one can collaborate. It cannot go that, it should not be rather that we go and say, we will do this and this and this for you. It should be what is wanted. I think that's the best I can answer this question.
My question was, which country of Africa has India has invested more as of now?
Which country India has invested most?
Well, if you look at Ethiopia, it's one of the strongest partners that we have on the grounds of agricultural cooperation, on the grounds of technical collaboration, and India's support, especially during the COVID times, has been very immense on the aspect of the health collaborations that we have made. Apart from that, if you look at the whole region as such, the Africa Free Trade Agreement that is launched in January 2021, which will be implemented by 2030, there is an action plan. So the whole region is going to be completely in line. Everybody has their own needs. That we have got neighboring countries next to Ethiopia. We have Djibouti. Djibouti has its own strategic relations with India. Ethiopia has its own relations with India. So Ghana has its own relations. Namibia, Zimbabwe. So every just like Mr. Chris said, 54 countries. We all have important, different successful stories with all countries very equally as per the national group. Thank you. Next, the warmest people that you will ever find, and I think whoever has not visited Africa, at least all the parts that I have visited, including Ethiopia and Djibouti and other parts of Africa, we have always had a very warm and a friendly welcome. The advantage that Indians will have, and one thing that I noticed in traveling between delegations into Europe and Africa is that Africa there's a lot of comfort level because the food habits are all very similar to us. In fact, just today we were having our lunch, and our colleague from the Ethiopian embassy was saying that it's very much like tasting like Ethiopian food. So this is one thing, and also the fact that the weather and the climate is very appealing for Indian businessmen. The most successful stories that you will find with Indian businesses have actually come from Africa and not from other parts of the world. The statistics show that Africa, we have done more business with Africa than other parts of the world. And in Bangalore, because a lot of people in Kola, they are working in Africa agriculture. We have one, Mr. Mohidu Bukhari here, who is into the mining sector. Yeah, he's here, Mr. Mohidu from mining, and he's going to be exploring on that aspect, and he's the one who's also developing the special economic zone for the African special economic zone. Thanks.
During this economic pandemic,
Sir, Mike, please.
During this of airport in Djibouti, for which the GMR had conducted meetings to build the private airport, and now we are finalizing aspects of in the post-COVID. A lot of plans that happened pre-COVID, are going to be altered, are being relooked at, and modified. So we are due to the economical aspects of how things are also happening. It's a global thing. So the 30-member delegation will comprise of visiting Ethiopia, Djibouti, and down we are going to go to Namibia, Zimbabwe.
And how many of them are from Tamilnadu?
All of them, around 25 of them will be from Tamilnadu, and we'll have around 5 from Hyderabad.
Can you probably give us some names
Of the companies?
of the companies and individuals who are coming here?
Yes, ma'am. We have a list, we can share that with you. Yeah, thank you.
part of the portfolio, we also handle corporates, which means that across industries we serve. That is one of the reasons why I was invited for the webinar which took place in November 30th. I was asked to make a presentation on COMESA, of Indian COMESA relationship. So I did the presentation, where I found that most of the African countries, between Africa and India, they have a lot of things in common. For example, the forest reserves as also the agri reserves, quite huge, which is not being tapped properly. That's what I feel. So that needs to be the focus for the first to start the relationship. Now, COVID, I think, is one of the key things that is happening in the world. In India, basically, we found that COVID did not affect people who have a good immunity levels, and those people who had a clean life, they are not affected. Disciplined food, not being affected. So most of the food what we take, particularly in South Indians, like our turmeric, garlic, all these are blended or added to the as a spice to these foods. So therefore, the immunity level has gone up very well. So therefore, most of this was not affected by the COVID. So that's one. The second, so which means agro-pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals will be one of the focus areas in the relationships I'm going to take it forward. And particularly from Tamilnadu, Pondicherry and Kerala, I think all of us agree that we have focus.
2000s, there was a shortage of a particular product called passion fruit concentrate, which was mainly coming out of South America. In a collaboration with my company, an Ivorian company, and a farmer group in the Ivory Coast, they planted passion fruit. The processor in the Ivory Coast concentrated it, froze it, and we took it to the Europort in Rotterdam and sold the concentrate. So what the example is basically how one can cooperate right with farmers, with manufacturers, and use one's link into the market with a finished product, which never existed before on the continent.
All right. Dr. Iqbal, as you have mentioned,
I think she's going to address it. They had a meeting with our foreign minister, and the vaccine diplomacy is in place. And I think she will be in a better position to say how, if the Indian government is what is, I think maybe you should.
Okay, thank you.